Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 1 of our league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on January 30th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. League Challenge, February 13th at 6 p.m., and League Cup, March 29th at 12 p.m. All Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, we have a festival deck. On the right, we have Lugia. Grookey in the active spot on the left, Squawkabilly EX in the active spot on the right-hand side, and our right-hand side player, the Lugia player, is going first for this game. And they start things off with a Nest Ball. That item card allows them to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto their bench. And it's probably going to be that Lugia V. We can't have a Lugia deck without Lugia, right? The players are discussing a little bit extra this round too, because our player on the left is definitely a newer player, so welcome. Love to see new players get into the game and share the passion for this trading card game, as the Lugia V is found off of that Nest Ball. Added to the bench, the player is checking out their hand, trying to see if there's anything else they want to play, or if they actually want to pull the trigger on this Squawkabilly EX Squawk and Seize ability. That Squawkabilly in the active's ability can only be used on the first turn, but when you do, you discard your hand and draw 6 fresh new cards. So it just depends on what's in hand, as a Mist Energy gets attached to the bench Lugia V. And our Lugia player is looking to get Archeops in the discard pile now. They already got the Lugia V down, so it can evolve into the Lugia V Star as soon as the next turn. Now they just need to get the Archeops in the discard pile to use that V Star power ability with. Next, they put a Lumineon V onto the bench, activating its Luminous Sign ability, which allows the player to search the deck for a supporter card to add to their hand. Wonder why the player is doing this on their turn 1. I guess this is telegraphing they won't be using Squawkabilly EX Squawk and Seize, as they find a Jacq as the supporter card to add to the hand off of the Lumineon V. And they're gesturing towards the Squawkabilly EX, but maybe they're debating on using it or not, and definitely explaining, I guess, what their cards do to the newer opponent here. That could just be it. As they're shuffling up after this Luminous Sign deck search, and it looks like they are actually going to go for the Squawk and Seize, thinning out that Jacq, it appears. They think is the best option here, and Squawk and Seize discards the hand and draws 6 fresh new cards. Can we find the Ultra Ball double Archeops to get them into the discard pile on easy mode? Well, we're starting with the Capturing Aroma, flipping a coin and flipping heads. That allows the player to search their deck for an evolution Pokemon to put into their hand. So good, we are getting the Archeops into hand. That's step 1 to discarding them, of course, to be summoned later with that Lugia V-Star Summoning Star ability. So remember, the mini games in Lugia are get the Lugia V down turn 1 and get at least 2 Archeops in the discard pile as quickly as possible. I'd say our Lugia player on the right-hand side had a pretty good turn 1 here, as they pass things over to our festival player here. Grookey in the active spot gets an Grass Energy attached to it, and then they play a Buddy Buddy Poffin from their hand. That item card lets them search their deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put onto the bench. Third Grookey put into play now, as well as an Applin. Reller, of course, in the green party here. As our player concludes this Buddy Buddy Poffin deck search, shuffling things back up, the TM evolution is in hand, so they will be able to end the turn with some evolved Pokemon here, as that Technical Machine evolution gets attached to the active Grookey, giving it access to the attack evolution. And it looks like they are going to go for it. Using the evolution attack, they target 2 of their bench Pokemon and evolve them, searching their deck for the Pokemon they evolved to and putting them on top of those basics. Looks like the Diplin, or the Applin, will evolve into the Diplin, and the Reller will evolve into the Rabsca. The Rabsca has an ability that protects bench Pokemon from attack damage as well as damage counters being put onto them. And the Diplin, well, we'll get to the Diplin as it becomes relevant, as our Lugia player is taking their next turn, playing a Ultra Ball, discarding Archeops and the new Regigigas, I think, as it's not needed in this matchup, in order to search the deck for an evolution Pokemon. The evolution Pokemon was another Archeops. That signals that there is a way to discard the second Archeops in hand. As our player checks out their hand, trying to make the best next move. Yep, there is another Ultra Ball in hand, so we definitely have the combo on turn 2. As a second Ultra Ball is played, discarding another Archeops and a Boss's Orders, I think, to search the deck for another evolution Pokemon. And this one, of course, will be the Lugia V-Star, to evolve the Lugia V on the bench. We're seeing that right now, and giving the player access to the Summoning Star V-Star power ability. As a Minccino is put onto the bench as well, and now it looks like the player is using Summoning Star on the Lugia V-Star in order to put up to 2 colorless non-rule box Pokemon from the discard pile onto their bench. So double Archeops resurrected here. Each of them have the Primal Turbo ability. Primal Turbo allows the player to search their deck for up to 2 special energy cards and attach them to one of their Pokemon. With double Archeops out, they can do that twice a turn, as long as those double Archeops exist, of course. So 1 Primal Turbo, accelerated 1 V-Guard energy to the active Squawkabilly EX, probably just so it can be retreated to pay for retreat cost. Second Primal Turbo is being used now to accelerate a double Turbo energy and a gift energy onto that bench Lugia V-Star. So that is going to be our attacker for this turn. Lugia V-Star has the Tempest Dive attack for 4 colorless energy, 220 damage. Since there's a double Turbo energy attached, it's 200 damage. Squawkabilly retreats into the Lugia V-Star. Lugia V-Star uses Tempest Dive for 200 damage, more than enough to KO the opposing baby Grookey for the first prize of the game. Diplin rolls into the active spot on the left-hand side, and play resumes there as the Festival Grounds Stadium hits the field here. That one I definitely will research for you guys in the professor's lab today, as it is what this festival deck revolves around, huh? Festival Grounds, of course, is a stadium card that says each Pokemon that has any energy attached, both yours and your opponent's, recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by any special conditions. Okay, so no special conditions, usually not too relevant in the current metagame, but the Festival Grounds does unlock some things. As you see, our Lugia player is reading that Diplin there that has the Festival Lead ability. If the Festival Grounds is in play, it is, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon that Festival grounds, allowing the Festival lead Pokemon to attack twice. Watch out, Lugia. As our Festival player now plays a Lana's Aid on the left-hand side here. That supporter card allows them to put 3 of any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So recovered some resources from the discard pile. There is pretty much all their hand had this turn. Grookey rebenched, triple Grookey out again. Energy card that was recovered, the grass energy attached to the active Diplin. And anything else to do other than the wave. The Diplin in the active spot here. I guess they do have a bug catching set kit, whatever it's called, in hand on the left hand side. They're not playing. I would probably like to see them play this card to potentially find some cards off the top off the top 7 that will help them build their board, but potentially more importantly, thin the deck out so that way the top decks are that much sweeter. But either way, the player is going for a Diplin Do the Wave here. 20 times this attack does 20 damage for each of your benched Pokemon. And remember, since the Festival Grounds is in play, the Diplin can use its attack twice thanks to Festival lead. So they're doing 80 damage times 2, 160 being done to this Lugia V-Star. Yep. Alright, our player's got it here. As our Lugia player on the right-hand side starts their next turn. The KO is on board, and it looks like that's all that needs to be done here. Lugia knocks out the opposing Diplin for another prize here. Yeah, that makes sense, as that's the best attacker currently for the Lugia player since their bench is full. They maybe could have, if they would have had a Cincino to evolve, they could have retreated into that and attacked with that, but this is just fine, as the opponent currently has no Applin in play. Grookey then runs into the active spot on the left-hand side, and play resumes there. So maybe that bug catching set could have found a backup Applin to have benched the last turn, so we could maybe have an attack this turn, but the gas was mostly gone on that last turn anyways, and no guarantee the bug catching set would have found the relevant cards, of course. And we're going to see that being played now. Actually, the bug catching set allows the player to, on the left hand side, to look at the top 7 cards of their deck, and they may add 2 of any combination of grass Pokemon or grass energy, basic grass energy, to their hand, then shuffle the rest of the cards back in deck. Okay, so there's some green stuff in there. The player will definitely grab a grass energy, and they're gonna actually go for this Toad School. Yep, grabbing the basic Toad. Let's see, Toad School, and a basic grass energy off of the bug catching set. Those get added to the hand. I think we'll see the Toad School get benched here to evolve next turn, but its Toad Scroll and Slime Mode Colony evolution and ability aren't really too relevant in this matchup. Either way, build the board up, do what you can, have some fun playing with some Pokemon cards. You can attach an energy, but it doesn't really make too much sense to attach anywhere. Maybe to a bench Grookey to have a pivot for next turn lined up. but then you don't have any energy in hand, I don't think. So just a pass back to our Lugia player on the right-hand side, who now plays an Ultra Ball, discarding the Archeops and the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX as they're going far ahead in this game. Don't need that card anymore in order to search the deck for an evolution card. The evolution Pokemon card that they will find is the Cincino. To evolve the baby Mincino on the bench into further build their board, but this Lugia seems to just be stealing away this game, sweeping this game, as our festival player struggles to set up their board and a boss's orders is played to bring up the Rabsca from the bench into the active spot, and then Lugia V-Star takes a KO on it with Tempest Dive for another prize card. Grookey stomps back into the active spot on the left-hand side and play resumes there. The bench Toedscool evolves into Toedscruel with the Slime Mode Colony. We'll read along with the Lugia player, as the Toedscruel has that Slime Mode Colony ability. Cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their hand by an effect of your opponent's abilities or trainer cards. So that would have been cool if it prevented opponents' cards from their discard pile to be put in play or to their hand, because then that would stop the Summoning Star V-Star power ability, but that's not relevant here. That's just a what if. Slime Mode Colony, yeah, and I don't think really doing anything again are in this matchup, but still, again, play your cards, build your board. Really, that effect is our ability is super effective against decks like Goldango, let's say, that use superior energy retrieval, that really rely on cards like that from the discard pile. Anyways, a Golding put onto the bench here with a Buddy Buddy Poffin along with an Applin. The backup Applin showing up just a little bit too late here. So again, that might have been able to be found a lot earlier with early play of a bug catching set, but it didn't look like the player was going to hit that anyways, as they are going to attach this energy to grass energy to a bench Applin and then pass. Nothing to do but attack with the Lugia V-Star for another prize card for our Lugia player on the right, as Goldeen swims into the active spot here. Play resumes over on the left-hand side with the top deck of a skateboard. Nothing really relevant, so just a pass, I believe, back to our Lugia player, who attaches a gift energy to the bench, and Sino then attacks with the Lugia V-Star for another prize card. Grookey stomps back into the active spot on the left, and play resumes there. Any way to stop your opponent from taking their last prize card? Not really with a rescue board or Ultra Ball in hand. So our festival player scoops it up, and Lugia takes round 1 of our Prismatic Evolutions format. What do you think of this video in the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our players for letting their game be captured so we can all learn and enjoy, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.